Hey there, Bruce, and welcome back to the Game of Fortune. Now, in the last episode, we got Alphonse's ending, so we needed a new path to pick, and I did attempt to go down the path where we make a different choice here in the flowchart, this one. We cannot do that one yet, so I've jumped back this far, so we're going to start heading down this set of routes over here. And to do that, we need to go with Zeph and Kishi instead of Richard and Philip. So let's do that. And then we can just pick whatever. Let's go with Zeph and Kishi. Flattered by the choice. Well, can you blame them? Yeah, pretty damn awesome. Which means that Jade and Grant, you're with us. I'm glad that you'll have us. Hopefully we don't rub off on you as poorly as we did with Clyde and Devon. You know, I don't think they dislike me as much as you think they do. It was a joint effort on my bad first impression, Grant. Don't try to pin this all on me. I think I'm starting to see why you might be seen as irksome. See, now it's spreading to others. Don't blame this on me. But the group's decided, Zeph and Kishi walked over to the first door and waved for Devon and me to follow. Oi, you two. No point in waiting around, let's get right to it. My stomach was curling into knots. I wanted to wait as long as possible. I didn't want to see what lied behind these doors. My feet felt like cement. It was hard to even take a single step forward, knowing that my death might just be a few minutes away. My heart was beating like mad, and I could feel a trickle of sweat starting to roll down the side of my face. This could be it. This could be the end of my life. I can't. My thoughts were paused as I felt a push on my back. I turned to see Devon smiling at me with a look of sympathy and understanding. Fear and uncertainty lingered in her eyes as I imagined it did in mine. Don't stare at me like that, you dope. People are going to get ideas otherwise. Now come on. We can make it through this if we try. Yeah, I know. If we try. We didn't know what the future had in store for us, but we could try and mend its design as best we could. It's all we could do, after all. We walked through the door with Zeph and Kishi, and once we all stepped through the door closed behind us. The room itself was rather small. All it had were 4 chairs in a room in front of a television screen. There were 2 exits in the back of the room. It was unnerving, but everything up to this point had been. Hey, why is there a television here? Is there something wrong with the television? Well, didn't those Digits of Eden people say that electronic devices didn't work in places like this? They did say that, didn't they? Devon pulled out her phone and frowned, as it seemed unresponsive. Dead. And I know I had plenty of battery life before we jumped through the magic door. Sure hope my warranty didn't expire. Well, maybe it's not an actual television. Or maybe Belle has her own rules about this place that lets her decide what electronics are allowed to work and which ones aren't. No point in splitting hairs over simple stuff like this. As if on cue, the television flashed a few times, emitting static before a clear picture of Belle on the screen waved a hand toward us. That's precisely it, Zeph. This isn't really a television. Not in the technical sense anyway, but if it looks like a television and acts like a television, it might as well be one, right? I figured that using something a little more technical might make things go smoother. Gotta keep up with the times after all. Zeph smiled and turned to face Devon. See? What'd I tell you? Guess this place has weird funky rules. Just let anything happen. Anything can happen, you're correct. So let's get right to it and set your game up. So how exactly is this going to work? Simple. First we determine what kind of game we're going to play. You remember them, right? 2 versus 2, 1 versus 3, 4-player dilemma and all for one. After the game type is selected, I'll randomize the teams if there are any. And then finally, I'll tell you the game that you'll be playing, the rules, and then you'll start. Nothing special, right? Everyone's going to be going through it, so just make sure to memorize this, as best you can anyway. She giggles before recomposing herself. Alright, first things first. What type of game shall we play? Oh, that's right, someone said that the beeping sound was too loud. Character blips. The television screen started to shift between 4 screens, each showing one of the types of games. My eyes were glued as the screen flickered from one image to the next. I was trying to stay optimistic. After all, there were a lot of chances that Devon and I could be paired together, or that we'd be able to at least survive together. I was running each option in my head, hoping that fate or something was looking favourably upon me in here. Whoa. My hopes were answered when the screen suddenly stopped, showing one person playing against 3 others. It looked like we'll be playing 1 versus 3 game. Let's see who's on what team. We all looked nervously at one another. No matter what team orientation there was, one team was going to be split. I just didn't want it to be me. Please don't be me. Please. Clyde versus Devon, Zeph and Kishi. My god, we have to kill everyone? My heart sank. Time just slowed. I wanted to blink my eyes and rub my ears and hope that I perceived everything wrong. This couldn't be happening. This just couldn't be happening. No, no. I have now revealed the exits from this room. Take note of the door on the left and right. Clyde, would you please enter the room on the left? Zeph, Kishi, Zeph, and Devon, please enter the room on the right. No, Belle, you got this wrong. You can't. You can't split us up like this. Oh, and why not? Are you afraid that things won't be fair because it's 3 versus 1? Don't worry, Clyde, I assure you that things are properly balanced. I don't care about that, I don't. I gritted my teeth as I stared at the screen. I don't want to kill Devon. Well, Clyde, that's your choice. If you don't want to kill Devon, you don't have to. All you have to do in return is die. That's how these games go. You either live or you die. And if you want to ensure Devon's life, all you have to do is die and let the other team kill you during this game. Simple enough, isn't it? No, there has to be some other way. The sooner you can accept the rules of this place, the sooner you'll be able to make the best choices. If you wallow around, you'll just die and die and die. Come on, Zeph, let's go. Right behind you. Zeph and Kishi left through the right door, not bothering to spare me any other words. Are we really going to die like this? I don't know. Devon reached out and put a hand on my shoulder, but reeled it back when she realized how hollow the comfort would end up being. Do your best, okay? She sucked in a breath of air and, with heavy steps, walked through the door, leaving me alone to contemplate my next move, as though I really had any choice in the matter. Did I really have no choice but to pick between my own life and that of Devon's? Clyde, if you don't hurry up and move to your room, I'm going to assume you're forfeiting the game, and I'll have you disqualified. I'm going. Dread and fear were the only things keeping my legs moving as I entered through the door on the left. Once I entered, the door closed behind me. The room itself was rather small and simple, just a chair in front of another television screen. No observable exits aside from the door that I just came out of. Was this where the game was going to be played? Soon the screen flicked to life and Belle's face was on it once again. Alright everyone, the game we'll be playing today is called Pick Your Poison. I hate this already. The rules are simple. Each side will take turns picking a punishment that the other side will have to experience. You'll be provided with 2 options each time. To make things fair, however, the team of 3 will only be able to enact weaker punishments against Clyde. This balances out the teams and ensures that each side could potentially win. Only one person on the team of 3 is able to receive punishment at a time. The person who sits in the chair will be designated as the person who will receive the punishment. Your teammates can choose to swap out with you before your punishment is delivered, but not before knowing what the punishment is. Lastly, you may not swap out of the chair unless one of your teammates chooses to do so. You'll have to work together if you want to distribute the pain easily. The game will end when one side has no more living players. Sit down in the chair when you're ready to play. For the team of 3, feel free to discuss among yourselves who will sit up front first. I did as I was told, sitting down in the chair and watching as Belle stared directly at me from the screen for a few minutes before she nodded her head, seemingly pleased by whatever was going on in the other room. Alright, seems you're all set to let this game get started. As she spoke, metal locks on the chair activated, keeping my legs and torso in place on the chair. The screen changed to show what I assumed was the live feed of the other room, with Devon sitting down in the chair, with Zeph and Kishi sitting in chairs behind her. She looked pained, understandably so considering the circumstances. But why? Why was she the one sitting before me now? If the game is to kill your opponents, doesn't it mean they should put someone who's willing to kill me? Devon wouldn't want to put me in harm's way if she could help it. Zeph and Kishi should be up front, switching among themselves if they thought that anything was too risky. Or maybe they think I won't hurt Devon because she's the one who would be hurt by whatever punishment I picked. Maybe they forced her in the chair and then took seats behind her. If they thought that I'd go easy on her, they might just wait until either she's dead or I'm dead. So many options and I don't like any of them. But Belle didn't give me any more time to think. Round 1, start. The upper right part of the screen showed 2 images. A lightning bolt and a syringe of some kind. Press the left button and send a strong electric shock. Press the right button and inject your opponent with a painful but non-lethal poison. Those were the options that I had. I looked down at my hands and saw that each arm of the chair, there was a button. That's probably where I pressed whatever option I wanted. As I was thinking it over, Devon looked up at me through the screen. Hey Clyde, which would you prefer, a small cut on your leg or a gunshot through the leg? Huh? Those are the options I was given. It said you could either get shot through the leg or you could receive a small cut. I figured you wouldn't want to be shot through the leg, but you know, never hurts to be polite. Is she being honest? Is she telling me what her options are? Why wouldn't she? Is this some kind of trick or... Clyde, hello? Is this thing not one way? No, it's... I can hear you. Just pick the small cut, please. Sure thing. If it were me, I would have chosen to shoot you through the leg, you know. Yeah, well, nobody asked you. Just saying, I think that would be badass. Devon rolls her eyes and then looks back at me. So what are you going to pick for me? I haven't picked yet, but there's an option for a strong electric shock and one for a painful but not non-fatal poison injection. Those both sound terrible. I guess that's what you get for being without teammates. I prefer to take the poison, I guess. I don't know what constitutes a strong electric shock, but I'm sure that I won't die if I take a non-fatal poison. That's true, because it's non-fatal. Okay, then I'll pick that one. I press the right button and soon the screen flashed with a green check mark. Round 1 is over. Punishments have been selected. The solo shall receive a shallow cut on their leg. A trio member will receive a painful but non-lethal injection. Oh, I hate needles. Well, you did ask for it. I guess you're right. Don't worry, I don't think you'll have to deal with that. What? A rotation has occurred. Zeph will take the place of Devon for the punishment. The chair's rotated and now Zeph was in front, looking at me with a cocky grin on his face. Happy to see me? Why'd you trade places with Devon? Don't worry, your pretty little head about that, and just deal with your little leg cut. As he spoke, a compartment of my own chair opened, with a mechanical knife slicing right through my pants, leaving a shallow cut on my thigh. Ouch, jeez, that fucking hurt. You think you got it bad? Your dumb poison feels like there's acid going through my veins. Holy moly. Zeph grimaced in pain as he clutched the arm of the chair. I didn't think that whatever poison going through him would really be that bad, but I suppose it could have been worse. I was still looking down at my shallow wound before a new set of options was put before me. Round 2, start. Press the left button to ignite your opponent's leg for 2 seconds, or press the right button to pour a litre of acid over your opponent's arm. And done. I'm guessing you don't want to talk about your options, do you? Look man, someone's going to die, and I'm really not keen on dying this early if I can help it. Also, I've got like burning blood right now, so I'm not really feeling chatty right now. Well, if that's how you're going to be. He was right in a sense. We were fighting for our lives. Lighting his leg on fire for 2 seconds seemed way too merciful for him, so I chose the acid, but he'll switch back to Devon, and then Devon will have to take it. Round 2 is over. Punishments have been selected, and that will put you off from ever picking the harshest punishment. Round 2 is over. Punishments have been selected. The solo will receive a painful blow to the chest. A trio member will have their arm doused in a litre of acid. Acid? Dude, really? Don't complain. You just talked about how you were going to die a few seconds ago. You weren't how we're going to die. Doesn't mean you can just pour acid on people. Before he could protest any further, the ceiling opened and noxious bubbling acids descended onto his right arm. Okay. Zeph cried out in pain as the liquid continued to run down his arm. Only once it stopped, he raised his head up and weakly grinned toward the camera. Damn, this shit hurts like a motherfucker. Still stings too. Like this acid shit is clinging to my clothes. You're a real sadist, you know that? I wanted to snap at him, but before I could, a steel mallet slammed into my chest, knocking out any air I had left and sending a wave of pain across my body. The pain was intense, and I could tell something was wrong. What's wrong? Got the wind knocked out of you? That shit looked like it hurt. I glared back at the screen. My chest was throbbing. I'd never felt a pain and anger in this magnitude before. I wasn't sure if I'd broken a rib or if it was just a nasty bruise. I knew that each time I inhaled and exhaled, the pain in my chest would flare up. Well, either way, it's looking like we're both worse for the wear, which, if you ask me, is better for us than it is for you. Let's see if you can survive the next round. I weakly growled at him as I was presented with the next set of punishments appearing on my screen. Press the left button to stab your opponent in the side. Press the right button to launch a brick at their head. Well, that one's definitely fatal. The intensity of these options were increasing with each round. I suppose that's to ensure that someone dies sooner or later. But I was tired of looking at this cocky bastard, and I instantly locked in my answer. I figured a stab to the side would kill him sooner rather than later. He might stay awake after taking a brick to the head. Unlikely. Well, nothing to say. Don't you want to talk about what cool options of pain you might have? Alright, guess we'll go right to the punishment then. Zeph's having way too much fun with this. He locked in his answer, wincing as the residual pain continued to linger in his body. Round 3 is over. Punishments have been selected. The solo shall be constricted for 2 minutes. The trio member will be stabbed in the side. Finally getting serious, huh? Can't blame me for that. For the record, the other option I had was to cover you in venomous snakes, but I wasn't sure if they'd actually bite. Plus, we already saw a snake. This seems more interesting. A rotation has occurred. Devon will take place of Zeph for this punishment. What? What the hell's going on? Didn't think that she'd swap this soon. We'll have fun stabbing your friend there. Zeph rotated out and Devon took his place. Before I had any time to even curse at him, Devon cried out in pain as the knife wedged itself into her side. She started to sweat as she leaned forward and reached for the knife that was plunging into her flesh. Stop. Don't pull the knife out. What? There's a goddamn knife on my side and you're telling me not to pull the damn thing out? It fucking hurts. It's the only thing keeping you alive right now. You pull that knife out of your body and you'll bleed out fast. Why the fuck do you care? Because you're useful. I'm sure that Clyde wouldn't want to stab his dear friend again, would he? Just bear through the pain. It'll be over soon anyway. I soon felt something wrap around my abdomen and start to constrict and squeeze me. My ribs flared out in pain again. I coughed out in agony as my muscles continued to ache, but the constraints only became tighter and tighter. I thought I was going to be squeezed in half. It was hard enough to breathe already, but now it felt as though no matter what, I couldn't suck any air into my lungs. See? Told you to be over soon. I gritted my teeth and forced myself to draw in one last breath. Defiance and anger were the only things keeping me alive. But even defiance and rage couldn't fight much against the burning pain in my chest. Every time I let out a small huff, I felt my chest get squeezed tighter. I just had to hold out for 2 minutes. I'd already lost track of time and was just staring at Devon, hoping to focus my mind on anything other than the diminishing amount of air in my lungs. But it felt like eternal. It felt eternal. Every second just intensified the pain, and slowly breath began to leak out of my mouth. Soon, I felt my lungs empty, and they pounded against the restraints, demanding more air. Even my helpless gasps were empty. I could only fill my mouth with air, and couldn't even get it down my throat. My vision began to get blurry, and a throbbing headache began to bound against my skull. My arms pulled and pressed against the constraints. My legs flailed. Every part of my body ached. It demanded air, and was fighting with every bit of energy and strength it could to find some way to get it in. With each desperate attempt, my body became weaker and weaker. I could only think of one thing, and one thing only. Breathe, 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 damn it. I finally felt a rush of air pulled down into my lungs as the constraints loosened and unwrapped themselves. I collapsed in my seat. I wasn't sure how much more of this I could take. I coughed and hacked before choking in more air into my lungs. Even after all that, my head ached and still couldn't focus. This is the worst game we've ever had to do. So far. It almost seemed hopeless. Even if I was somehow to play things right there. Right, there's no way I'd be able to survive 2 more punishments like that again. Wow, he's still alive. I'll give him some credit, he's quite the fighter. Why'd you take his place? You're really asking that now? Because Zeph was making you suffer, obviously. Shit, he was obviously just picking the worst options. Is it wrong to want my friend not to have another hammer slam into their chest? It was out of mercy? Or compassion? Call it what you want. Just know that I hate seeing you in pain. Thanks. I needed that more than anything right now. Compassion and mercy. But I didn't know if that would be enough to carry me through this horrific game. Hey Clyde, I got some good news for you. I weakly looked up, barely able to hold a breath, hoping that Devon actually had some good news. Your choices for punishment are having your head submerged in water for 2 minutes. That would kill me, no doubt. I wouldn't be able to hold my breath long enough to be able to last any more than 30 seconds, I bet. Or get tickled with a feather in your armpits for a minute. Are you joking? I got a knife in my side, Clyde. Do you really think I'd be joking about whether I could kill you or just make you giggle? I already picked my answers. So just tell me what you're going to pick. I looked over my options. Press the left button to burn your opponent's leg, or press the right button to submerge your opponent's head in water for 2 minutes. You can either have your legs burnt or have your head submerged in water for 2 minutes. Shit, both of those sound terrible. Which one do you want? I'll probably freak the hell out if my legs suddenly go on fire. I'll take my chances with holding my breath. I think I know a few techniques. She started taking a few deep breaths as if preparing herself for going underwater. But I was looking past her towards Kishi and Zeph. How would I know if they wouldn't try and take Devon's place right at this instant? Kishi hasn't suffered at all during the game. She could easily just swoop in and try and take whatever mercy I would try to give to Devon. And if she did that, she'd be able to pick up the next punishment for me. And I would know for a fact that she wouldn't go easy on me. Hell, she'd probably kill me with her first choice. So logically speaking, I should go for whatever I think should kill Kishi, right? I don't know if she can hold her breath for 2 minutes, or even if burning her leg would put her out of commission, but it's my best shot, isn't it? Even so, I lifted my head up to look at Devon, still trying to keep a brave face despite the pain she was in. If I get that wrong, then Devon's going to be in more agony than she's already in. And she doesn't deserve that, not after putting her life on the line just to give me some respite. Oh my god. Ugh. Why would you even consider that? You told her you were going to do this, you're going to do it. Honestly, I'm worried that Kishi or Zeph are going to take Devon's place, but if I think about the perspective, they should want to win without putting themselves in any sort of danger. Even if they think that Devon is going easy on me, inevitably, I'll be chipped down further and further. That, or maybe they're betting that Devon will turn on me, out of anger if I mess up. For now, the best place is simply assure Devon that she's got my trust, and not do anything drastic. I pressed the right button and waited for the results on the screen to change. Round 4 is over, punishments have been selected. The solo shall be tickled under the arms with feathers for a minute. The trio member will have their head submerged in water for 2 minutes. You sure you're going to be able to hold your breath for 2 minutes? Well, you got a knife in you. I've watched videos on how to do this. All I have to do is not panic. You know what I'd do if my legs were burnt? Panic? And probably scream and shout and, you know, just be in a ton of pain. Alright, just don't panic, okay? She nodded to reassure me, but looked quite slightly surprised when a plastic square tank closed around her head and quickly was pumped full of water. She only had a moment to suck in a huge breath before the tank filled completely with water. She closed her eyes and simply sat there motionless, as if she were taking a nap underwater. I could only nervously stare. She looked fine, but I know that she didn't feel fine. She had amazing willpower, but would that be enough? 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds. She just continued to sit there. Not a care in the world, not even a hint of distress or pain was plastered on her face. 50 seconds, 60 seconds, 70 seconds. Her eyebrow winced and her lip twitched ever so slightly. Her body must have been begging for her to take a nap. She was at a minute and 30 seconds. She only had to hold for a little longer, but even a second must have felt like an eternity while her lungs were begging for new air. I didn't want to speak to distract her. I just leaned forward and hoped that she'd be able to hustle through it. With 20 seconds left, I saw a stream of bubbles slowly starting to exit from her nose and her lungs deflate ever so slightly. But her puffed up cheeks deflated as she inhaled whatever stockpiled air was in there, just to get her through the last few seconds. I let out a sigh of relief that she'd still have a few more seconds to go through, but I was sure she would survive this without inhaling a drop of water. My optimism was spot on. As the timer ticked down, the tank drained all the water out onto the ground and Devon gasped for new air. After a few heavy breaths, she flashed me a smile and winked. See? Told you I could do it. It would look like you were struggling toward the end there. Struggle? Please, I could go for 3 minutes if I didn't have this stupid knife stuck in me. Which, by the way, still hurts like hell. I'm sure that it does. Now it's your turn. I'd almost forgotten about my punishment. In hindsight, it wasn't anything to even think about. The only real pain I had was from where both my arms were lifted and my chest reminded me that I probably had some kind of rib injury. The feathers that tickled under my arms didn't even make me laugh, it just felt weird. You look ridiculous right now, I want you to know that. And you look like an idiot who tried to taste lava. What'd you say, arsehole? See, if there's no point getting riled up. How am I not supposed to get angry at that? Well, you did start it. Even so. My arms were lowered and a new set of options were chosen for me. My eyes widened with horror. Press the left button to shoot your opponent through the head, or press the right button to shoot your opponent through the heart. What the hell choices were these? Both of them were lethal. There's no way Devon would survive this sort of thing. I tried to hide my fear. I couldn't let her know that I was basically forced to execute her. But Devon, being ever watchful, and knowing me for a while, could tell something was up. Dude, you look constipated. Shut up! It's just my chest. It's hitting real bad, that's all. I got a knife on my side and I don't look like I'm going to explode, do I? No, but you got a higher pain tolerance than me. Hell, you just held your breath for 2 minutes underwater. I think that shows how awesome you are. Oh, you think so? Maybe I can ask Belle for a reward after all this. You can get a bronze medal. Only bronze? Oh, can one of you please die so I don't have to hear any more of this? Kishi and I don't force people to listen to our conversations when they don't have to. Nobody asked for your input. Just hurry up and get on with it. Devon sighed and looked down at her options. I can make your hair hot. Your chair hot, but not like burning. I guess it'd be like sitting on a metal chair that's been out in the sun all day. Uncomfortable, but manageable. I take it you'd rather not have a boulder roll over your leg. It's a new experience, Devon. Maybe I think that'll be interesting. Besides, it might be a boulder made of ice cream. Never thought your sense of humor would come out when your life was on the line. It's probably some mix of panic and survival instinct that's keeping me from freaking out. Maybe we should put you in more dangerous situations like this when you're at work. You'd be a hit in the kitchen. I could hear Zeph groaning in the back. Perfect. Just need to egg him into action. As for you, I can either pelt you with 50 snowballs or pour lava over your arm. I was hoping you'd pick the snowballs right away. I always wanted to taste lava. It looks like it would be like a miracle drink. Probably tastes like dirt and pain. Really hot dirt that burns like hell. But think about it. My god, can I just get out of the chair and kill them both? This is agonizing. Zeph, calm down. Just listen to them. They're thinking about eating lava. Lava, Kishi. If they want to do that, then it's up to them. I'll be sure to share some with you if you want, Zeph. Oh, you're going to share? Then never mind, I'm picking the snowballs. What? But what if they're pure ice balls? Then they're really going to hurt. Well, maybe it'll numb you on impact if they're really cold. Hey, Zeph, if lava's not up to taste, how about a snow cone? I'll shove a snow cone so far up your ass you'll choke on it. I think that happened in a cartoon I watched once. All the snow melted and he drank it, and the guy had to... Don't care, just pick your stupid choice already. That should do it at least. I sure hope it does. Zeph's going to switch in and get a bullet in the head. I press the left button and anxiously watch the screen. Round 5 is over. Punishments have been selected. The solo shall have to sit in an extremely hot seat. The trio member will be shot through the head. What? Before I could answer, someone else shouted first. What the fuck? Heh. Seems that my strategy worked. Not that I really had much of a choice. Either Devon was going to get shot or someone else was. I had to play the hand I was dealt. You lying sack of shit. You didn't say those were the options? I thought you were going to pick some stupid snowball option. Well, I figured, Zeph, that you'd want something else, since you weren't keen on lava or snowballs. You little prick. A rotation has occurred. Zeph will take place of Devon for the punishment. The chairs rotated around with Zeph ending up right in front of the screen. Bet you feel real cocky right now, don't you? Like you won or some shit just because you managed to kill me. Look, man, I don't want to kill anyone, but I sure as hell couldn't shoot my best friend. Oh, was that the case? You're kind of a jerk, but if I could avoid it, I'd rather not kill you. I can respect that, but man, if that's all you're worried about, then you're dumber than you look. What's that supposed to mean? You'll figure it out, at the end. Maybe someone already told you, but my time's up this round. See you around, I guess. A gun dropped down from the ceiling and aimed at Zeph's head. He didn't seem too disturbed in the least, and once the gun fired, his body slumped backwards, leaving nothing but a corpse. I felt sick. I'd seen some horrific injuries already, but I'd never seen a dead body right before my eyes. I wanted to turn away and believe this was a bad dream, that I'd wake up from it at any moment. Of course, there wasn't going to be any such miracle for me. This game had to go on, and with Zeph's body being moved away, Kishi was the next one I had to face. That was pretty smart of you, Clyde, lying to cover your lack of options. He's pretty smart, you know. You can give him some serious credit. He is. I'd never be able to think that quickly on my feet, but I mean, I can when I'm singing, dancing and playing the drums, but, well, the point is, I can respect you doing the best you can in the situation. You aren't mad that I killed your boyfriend? Well, it was inevitable. If I got mad about it, then I really shouldn't be here. I'd be more mad if you made him needlessly suffer for a long while, which you did in a way, I suppose. I didn't make anyone needlessly suffer. I didn't have any non-lethal options. True, assuming that all your options were as you said they were. Anyway, let's not drag this on much longer. I think we'll finish this game in 3 minutes or less. Why are you so sure of that? Simple, because one of my options is to inject you with a poison that will kill you in 3 minutes. My heart skipped a beat. You don't really have that, do you? Why would I lie about something like that? Besides, if you die, then we win, no matter how long it takes. As long as one of us is alive. And I'm willing to bet that you're not going to kill Devon, even if you were able to kill me. So I'd rather just guarantee our victory, since you're very keen on playing games with her after all. She's bluffing. She has to be bluffing, but why? Why would she say something like that? She must know that I'll try and kill her no matter what. So is there any point in her making me lie? Is there some kind of punishment that's based on whatever it is that I pick? I'm just overthinking things. I gotta play to win. I looked down at my options and felt a bit of relief. Press the left button to pierce your opponent's chest with a sword, or press the right button to shower them in fireworks. I didn't want to play around and just drop fireworks on people. At times like these, it was best to just go do the straightforward solution. I pressed the left button and anxiously watched as Kishi looked back at me. You know, you got real pretty eyes. What the hell are you saying at a time like this? Just teasing. Don't tell Zeph I said that, by the way. He'd throw a fit. Or maybe a punch your way. I wouldn't want you to end up with a black eye after all. Round 6 is over. Punishments have been selected. The solo shall be injected with a poison that will kill him in 2 minutes. The trio member will be pierced through the heart with a sword. So you weren't lying. Well, I sort of lied. I figured that thinking you had an extra minute would be nice, wouldn't it? The difference between 3 minutes and 2 minutes isn't all that much. You can say all sorts of stuff in an amount of time if you're quick. But I'll leave that to you. After all, it seems I'm about to go through something painful. She took a deep breath and relaxed herself. Seconds later, a sword plunged her through the chest. Her eyes shot wide open with pain, but she didn't yell. If anything, she appeared to try and contain whatever guttural cry instinctually was trying to escape her mouth. It was hard for me to take my eyes off of her. This would be the second person I killed. Was I turning into some kind of monster? No, I didn't have a choice. I had to. She was going to kill me after all. I felt a pinch on my shoulder and looked to see an empty needle retreating back into my chair. Shit. Kishi looked as though she had something cocky to say, or maybe she was trying to be reassuring. It's hard to tell when half of her face looked as though she was trying to cling to life, while the other half had accepted it. But after a few seconds, she slumped over, leaving only one person left on her team. Clyde, fuck man, how do you feel? Do you feel sick? I don't know. I think I feel fine. My vision started to get a little blurry, and I felt my body starting to get warm. Scratch that, starting to feel a little dizzy. Shit. It's just the two of us now. Shut up, I know that. Fuck, is there something we can do in less than a minute? Belle said she'd give us each a fair shot at winning the game. I don't think she'd lie about that. What's the point in these games if everyone's going to die? Maybe some of the others can help. If the game ends, we can get help. There has to be some way. There has to be some way that we can both get out of this. Devon, please, we have to make a decision. I don't have a lot of time left. Don't say that. Come on, man. If I can handle a knife in me for minutes on end, you can power through this poison. Mine never matter. I know that you can. Don't give up so easily. Get real, Devon. We're stuck in this room, bound to these chairs until the game is over. I'm getting worse. My heart's starting to beat like mad. I'm shivering. My head is pounding. I can barely keep focus. Even your wound, you've got a wound that'll get infected if you don't get treatment. It'd be a miracle if one of us got out of here, let alone both of us. So all we can do is hope that Belle keeps good on her word. Shut up. You're always going through things with a defeatist attitude, like you've lost the fight before it's even started. You don't have to give up so damn easily. Tears started to roll down her eyes as she tried to fight back sobs. What the hell am I supposed to do if you're not out there with me? You think I'll be able to survive out there? I'll be all alone against all of them. I can't do this alone like you can, Clyde. I'm not you. I'm not smart. I'm not clever. I'm not tactical like you are. I'm none of those things. Hey, I got you stabbed because I didn't think straight. I'm not as smart or as strong as you think I am. Bullshit, you made one small mistake, but you otherwise played this perfectly. You trusted me when you needed to. You tricked Zeph into swapping with me. You got Kishi in one round. You're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But you did everything you could. You could win this. You could make it out of here alive if you tried. But I wouldn't. What am I going to do if I don't have you at my side? I don't know what they'll do. What I'd do. No matter how you look at this, I was always doomed to die. I can't just let you die, Devon. This is all my fault. I can't let you die. Devon's eyes furrowed as she turned back to the screen. I'm either killing you with a gunshot to the chest or a stab through the chest. There's no choice here. I'm just murdering you. What difference would it make if you picked something harmless? The poison would kill me anyway. I hesitantly looked down at my two options. Press left to mercifully kill your opponent, lulling them to sleep with a sleeping agent and a toxin that'll stop their heart. Or press right to painfully let them suffer from their current and future wounds. What kind of poetic bullshit is this? I either put you to sleep and start your heart, or I just do nothing. That's how I understand this. What's the point? If I'm going to die either way, you might as well have a chance at living. Don't be dumb, Clyde. You're smart. You're observant. You know what will happen if you choose to kill me. She was right. I knew it all along, but I hoped she hadn't noticed. Whatever punishment I selected before my own happens before my own, meaning that if my punishment kills Devon, then the game will end, and I won't have to suffer whatever she picks. Feigning ignorance isn't cool, you know. At least if you put me to sleep, that'd be more peaceful than what I'd do to you. I can just pick nothing and let the poison kill me. You try that, and I'll pick an option for you. What the hell do you care? I'm probably going to die from this poison or from something else. To teach you a lesson. Now choose, or I'll choose for you. You sick, sadistic bitch. Neither one of us was willing to budge, but ultimately we had to make a decision. This felt as though it was the hardest decision I'll ever have to make. Oh my god. Brutal. Alright, we're going to wrap this one up here because we're out of time for this episode. And we'll make our decision. And the next one, I probably go first with die and ensure her survival, and then I assume we'll be continuing with this route as Devon instead of Clyde, as we have done previously for a little bit anyway. So we shall see anyway. Till then, thanks for watching, Bruce, and I'll see you in the next one.